Welcome to Down at the Music Hall, and we go back to the good old days of the music hall, which started principally in England around about 1850. Now, as we know, music and song have always drawn people together, and through opera houses, concert halls, but then there was the local taverns, and then they got formalised into these magnificent big halls about 1850 in England. There was another one started a little bit later in the 1800s across in France, an idea. And it started in an area called a valley called the Valley of Vire, V-I-R-E. And it was from that name, the Valley of Vire, Vore de Vire, as Valley of Vire rather, that the name vaudeville came about. Now, vaudeville was the name of a song, a satirical song. And this is where the satirical song started in France. Very, very similar to music hall. And this was the style that sort of went to America in particular. But back here in England, it started around 1850. Around about 1895, something drastic happened. As you know, if you went to one of our last sessions, the Lumiere brothers in France invented the moving pictures. And of course, suddenly the music halls wanted to show a little bit of moving pictures. So one music hall would show one, and they're very short. And of course, if they showed moving pictures, the music hall down the road had to show them as well. So the one they had to show more, they had to show more, until eventually people just wanted to see the movies, and they didn't want to see singing and dancing and that. By 1915, all the music halls had finished. It had been completely taken over with cinemas. We'll go forward a little bit further forward now in time, and during the 1960s here in Australia, in fact around the world, there was a big interest in nostalgia, and in particular in music halls. And I think 1961, the very first old-time music hall started in Sydney, was simply called the Sydney Music Hall. George Miller, that's a name probably familiar, with his wife started. It was in Neutral Bay. It was in a big old theatre, one of Hoyt's old theatres, and that ran until 1980. Here in Melbourne in 1964, we had two very famous theatricals, John Newman and Tiki Taylor's. And in Exhibition Street, they started a late night cafe. It was to cater for people coming home from theatre, and they thought they'd throw in a bit of song and entertainment with your coffee. Very soon it became Tiki and John's Theatre Restaurant. So we're going to pick up today our program. We're going to take a little nostalgia trip down to Tiki and John's. This was actually a program that was recorded by the ABC, I think in the late 70s or 1980. So we're pretty lucky a friend of mine happened to record it. We're pretty lucky to have it. So for the next 6 minutes, let's enjoy ourselves down at Tiki and John's.
And welcome to our show. Hello, hello, we're here tonight. Everybody is getting bright. You know, we go theatre restaurant. We do our best to make you feel at home. Just listen up and be our guests. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our show. Hello, everybody, we're ready on our toes. It does you good to have a laugh, relax and have a ball.
You gotta be sporty.
'Cause we're naughty at the music hall. Where did you get that hat? Where did you get that tie? Is it little on the one that's got the proper style?
I should like to have one just the same as that.
Wherever I go, they shout, hello! Where did you get that hat? Put on your cap, little girlie. Do what I want you to do.
I'm from the busy hurly-burly. I've got lots to say to you and you.
My head's completely whirly-whirly. My girl, I want you to be. So put on your tata, your pretty little tata, and come on and tata with me. Talk about a treat. You look dapper, bring your dapper to your feet. Dressed in style with a brand new style. It's grandma's only tie on. I want to give you something for your old one day, old lion, old lion.
I always hold you hand in it if you fancies it. If you fancies it, that's understood. Oh, I know that you'd be fickle. Cause your whiskers, they would tickle. Cause a little of what you fancy does you good.
Yes, I always hold in having it if you fancies it. If you fancies it, that's understood.
And if that's your little game, I should like to do the same. Cause a little of what
You
you
little
fancy
ripper.
Fall in and follow me.
Have a night.
Fall in and follow me. I never mind about the stormy weather. All together, stand by me, boys. I know
the way to go.
I'll take you on a
You do as I do, and you'll be right. Fall in to follow me. Hold it! Flashbang, what a picture, what a picture, what a photograph. Poor old bloke, blimey, what a joke. Hat blew off in a cloud of smoke, clap hands. Stamp your feet, bash it on the big bass drum. Click, what a picture, click, what a picture. Rum, diddly, dum, 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 dum. Stick it in your family album. Oh, what a picture, what a picture, what a photograph. Poor old Jude doesn't see the proof. Please, fight, come, hope we don't get sued. Clap hands, stamp your feet, bash it on the big bass drum. What a picture, rum, diddly, dum, 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 dum. Stick it in your family album. Stick it in your family, stick it in your family, stick it in your family album. Do we have anybody with us from Tasmania? Where are you, Tassie? One, I've got one we all done, and one we all done, and one we all done. No, two, I've done two. And another one, three. I've got three we all done. At three done. At three, at three. Are you done? Tassie, make them welcome to Melbourne Town. Anywhere else overseas? Phillip Island? Shouldn't you be waddling up the rocks at this hour of the night? I roll around the world, looking for the sunshine and never seem to come my way. Rolling around the world, every bit of sunshine seems to look at me and say, bye-bye rainy day, bye-bye snow. Got no time to waste, I must go. Rolling around the world, looking for the sunshine and never seems to come my way. Bye-bye rainy day, bye-bye snow. Got no time to waste, go, go, go. Rolling around the world, looking for the sunshine that never seems to come my way. Once again, Val Delay and Maury Field. Have a take about.
Well, we had some memories there. Maury Fields and Val Gillay, and also Vic Gordon and Judith Roberts. And also in that show, although we didn't see in that clip, Ernie Bourne was another one, a famous one there. So some great sort of stuff there. Speaking of Judith, I'm going to sort of spotlight Judith and ask her to unmute herself while she tells her a little bit.
Thank you. Yes, I'm back. Now, you will never guess, David, but Judith Roberts and I went to school together. Hello. Oh, you've gone too. I can't hear a thing.
Is she
All
that
right.
old?
Okay, now my history of music hall comes with these books, and I'm going to sort of show some of them if you can roughly see how my interest has grown over the years. There we go. Music hall, working the halls. I'm not going, there's another couple somewhere here. But, bawdy songs of the music hall too. Wow. Now, they are rude. Anyway, I love the music hall era. And when I started teaching first, I had to become the entire orchestra for The Gondoliers, which is a Gilbert and Sullivan style. Well, it is a Gilbert and Sullivan show, but the show itself, and under Gilbert and Sullivan's reign, really kind of duplicated the music hall era with their ditty songs and what have you. I also, when I first finished training, my training in Melbourne, I went to the Tiki and John Music Hall, and there was another place called the Salad Bowl, of which I think David knows, in Swanston Street. And I loved that whole format of the chairman and the cast. And in my case, when I really got started in the music hall era, I started to realise that I could actually play the piano well enough to run a show at the primary school at which I lived opposite. So I would go over and get the grade 5 and 6s at lunchtime once a week, and we would rehearse and audition the kids. And we had the most amazing chairman, cast. They did little sketches and they did songs of the music hall, because I believed they would die if I didn't save them. I wanted these songs to be saved. And as you've heard, you probably know some of them yourself, and you will know a lot more this afternoon. So I suppose that's how I got started. And I wrote a couple of music hall presentations for the school. And then I think I got involved in MLOC. So that's sort of my life story, musically speaking, until I get to Still in the Pink. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for that. Yes, a long story there. I'm sure Judy's been in just about everything. Anyway, moving right forward, yes, there was a little theatre under the Capitol Theatre down there in Howie Place. I remember going there and seeing East Lynn. It was it was about 1960. And I remember Freddie Phillips on the piano. I couldn't believe how 10 fingers could play 88 notes at once. He was just a phenomenal thing. But let's move forward to what we're doing about today. And a friend of mine, Barry Robinson, who was involved with Theatre Restaurant, or theatre, amateur theatre, he and his family started a thing called the Pumpkin Theatre in Richmond. And then Barry got interested in music hall. And he approached me one day and he said, I'm going to start this place. I'm taking over the old Glen Theatre in Glenferrie and turning it into a giant music hall like that Leeds one in England, that giant one there. Would you like to come and work there? Well, would I like to come and work there? So it's really interesting when I say that we haven't got a lot of photos. And it's funny, I was saying to someone today that when history is happening, we don't realise it. And so we haven't got much here, but I don't know this much. And I have got a couple of little things here to show you. Here we are in Glenferrie Road, a very, very long time ago. Now, it's in Glenferrie Road, just near the railway line. If you were to go through that arcade and go right through to the back, you would come to the Hawthorn football ground, if that puts you in perspective. That's the way it used to be. Now, in that arcade, upstairs on the right, it was called the Glenferrie Theatre. 1917 it was built, and I reckon that's probably in the 1920s, that picture. It became a dance hall for a while, and we know that it became a cinema again, and we know that around about 1940 it was modernised, and you can see it here. There it is, the modern, and it was called the Glen, from Glenferrie to Glen. Now that's very much in the style of the original Dendy Theatre. Not the one you've been seeing me lately at, but the original one. It's also in the style of the Astor Theatre of about 1940 era. Obviously a very beautiful theatre. It closed in 1960. Television got too much for it, and it sat empty for a while. It became a dance venue. They cut it into two, sort of like the Dendy is now. With an arcade downstairs. Now, the only picture I've got at all of about this time was there. Now, that's the upstairs of the picture theatre you just saw before. I think this was when the 1990s was being built. I think, because I recognise the proscenium arch around there. That was one that Barry Robinson built. That little cubicle on the right, I'll wiggle my little pointer over there if you can see it. You probably can't. That little cubicle on the right was the band. Just immediately right of the stage was the organ. I had an organ with a synthesizer on the top. Next to me there in the middle was a grand piano, and over on the right was Ian Pearce on the drums there. So there was a dance floor down the middle, and as you can see was 2 levels. It held over 200 people. Over there on the left, not completed, was the control room. And up to the left of the picture, there was an upstairs level, a lounge area. It was most elaborate, all red and gold, the whole place red and gold. So we're going to pick up the show. This is a video of a show done in 1983. And across there, left of the stage, there was an old piano, which Barry put a glass front on it. And we used to do a sing-along before the show. So we're going to go through the sing-along, and then I'll explain the cast after that. So we'll go right through now with the sing-along and the opening, and Mary Maud Marshall, our chair lady, who she does the royal toast. We'll take it right through there without stopping.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 1990s Music Hall. Razzmatazz Express will be leaving platform 1 in 5 minutes.
at the Naughty 90s musical. Have you all got your dances ready? Good. Hang on, mine's down in the cellar. How about this for Tuesday? I do it 6 times a week and never on Sunday. Are we ready? Bottoms up. Not you, Mrs. O'Neill. I'm in the glass. You can sit down now. Here we go.
Yeah, well, it's cleared the air, hasn't it? Dear old Mary Maud Marshall. And by the way, that was a trick jug. It's not really that full. So it's a jug inside a jug. There's about 1 cupful. And of course, in typical theatrical style, we don't use real alcohol. It's just ginger beer, but it does the trick. It looks right, doesn't it? Just to give you some of the cast, you may have recognised there our good friend Geraldine Morrow. That's almost 40 years ago when she was about in her early 40s, and about 40 she was then. And the other lady there, the dark-haired one, Lane Lamont, and she's related to our Sue here. The other 2 guys there, and Noel Mitchell and Tony Gapin. Now, they were sort of regulars with J.C. Williamson's. And so they sometimes took semi-lead parts, but they're very, very seasoned. As you can tell, they can sing, they can dance, they can do all sorts. You had to do all that sort of stuff in those days. So there we go with the cast. I'm going to move on now, and our very own, I thought we'd particularly feature Geraldine, because you know Geraldine very well, and just to show how talented she is in many, many directions. So here we go. Here's with Geraldine, and this was her first, we call her first solo spot on the program. Here was Geraldine with a little selection, and what a magnificent voice. You'll hear her voice here now.
Here now is the girl who would pass any inspection. Yes, it's our girl with the golden voice, the Brazilians, the Dalmatians, the gorgeous Miss Geraldine Morrow. Get to know you, get to know about you, get to like you, get to hope you like me, get to know you, with my way, I believe for you.
what a voice. Oh, what a voice. Those top notes, since you could take notes higher than that. To think that Geraldine was doing that part of My Fair Lady professionally in theatre in Firth at the age of 16, and then she went on to do it in the West End. So she sung that song a lot of times. You might just know a bit about the production. By the way, the video was just somebody's home video. I'm sorry it's not ABC professional video, and I've tried to jazz it up on the computer to brighten it up so you can at least see what's going on. But and also the backdrops and that. Barry Robinson, who built the place, he previously was a scene painter for J.C. Williamson's, and so he was naturally, we get all those scenes in the background there, they were all by Barry. The whole interior of the theatre was designed by Barry. He was a very, very clever person. So that's the story behind the theatre there. We're going to go down now, and we always had a lot of fun as well as serious stuff. And of course, we don't do the Andrews Sisters, but we can't have to do it. We don't do it sort of seriously. By the way, then in the opening there, and you'll note, I'm sure you recognise all the train songs that we used to sing. Yes, all those ones. So next time we do it it's still in the pink. We'll have to put in all those actions, by the way. Anyway, the Andrews Sisters, just watch carefully. Now, I deliberately haven't put any words on the screen because when you went to the theatre, you look at the script stage. You haven't got song sheets because you're looking at the stage and the theatre is dark. You couldn't read them. And you might have noticed there on the right-hand side, I've got sitting there, I'm playing the organ on the right. On top, I've got a synthesizer, which I play a hand, and I sometimes put my hand out to the right. I've got a grand piano over there, and sometimes I just turn around and play the grand piano. So you've got to be versatile with these places. Now here's versatility. We're going to see the Andrews Sisters, and then you're going to see Geraldine Morrow in quite a different role. One is again a very clever role, which is very typically Geraldine. She is so very talented.
Now you've heard of the Andrews Sisters. Well, Sister X come and Sister X go. Hang on to your snooze, and away we go.
next time we have Geraldine on our concerts, we'll have to get her to do a tap dancing routine, will we? I'm absolutely exhausted. And when I hear the speed at which I used to play, gosh, must be getting old or something or other. But now it's just a little bit, something a bit different. We could be serious. We could be serious. And every comedy act, I think, is always accentuated when you do something serious. I remember I used to work with a lady, Joan, I can't think of her name now, but she did comedy and she was a great singer, a semi-operatic singer, Joan, I can't remember her name. But she always finished up after this comedy and being absolutely hilarious and making a fool of herself and her own. She would always finish up with the Nuns chorus, and that just brought the house down. Unbelievable. But so we could be serious, but look, take a look at the second song. It may not be end up as quite as serious you think. Watch closely. It's what we call a sight act. And finally, we're just going to see you had to be versatile to be at our shows. You'll just have to see how versatile the whole cast has to be there. I'm just going to mute you there and we'll go back and take a look now. Here we are. We're going to be serious first and then just perhaps.
Say his eyes were
Well, you had to be versatile, didn't you? Sing, dance, do, juggle, everything. What a talented cast there. Some really amazing stuff. And just that's the Indian Love Call song there. With there's two reasons why Noel Mitchell had to be under Geraldine's dress. One was because it was a joke. Oh, he appears. Here I am. The other thing was that Geraldine was actually had to come when she rises. She's on a hydraulic platform, and it was a square, about 2 foot square in the stage where this hydraulic platform was. And to make sure that she was right on it, Noel Mitchell had to be underneath. And while he's singing, he's got Geraldine by the backside and he's maneuvering her onto to make she's standing on the platform, or else she'd fall off when it went up in the air. That's a great thing. Well, we've got a real classic for you now, a real classic, because every show has to finish up or get near, we're getting near the end. And every show has to have a sing-along near the end. You are going to know all of these songs. You won't need the words. They are a little bit differently presented from what we've done at Still in the Pink. So next time we do it in Still in the Pink, this is how we are going to have to do all these songs. You will know them all. Please enjoy this sing-along. I'm sure you knew all those songs, and that's the way we're going to do it next time. Just as a matter of interest, all the choreography was done by a lady who was well known. Some of you might know the name, going way back now, Betty Pounder. Betty Pounder was virtually the resident choreographer J.C. Williamson's, and most of the J.C. Williamson shows. Dear Betty, she was a lovely, lovely person, and we knew her well. And she used to come down, and she was so gentle and encouraging and getting the best out of people. They were pretty untalented, really, but she got the best out of them. But they were great fun days. That was recorded sometime in 1983. I forget when. It was about a year before the place closed, and the whole music hall era in Melbourne was coming to an end. 12 months later, we closed. The Dickie and John's closed. It became Dracula's. The place in Sydney had closed. It was just an end of an era, that was all. So we always go out with the grand finale. So just to finish off now, and the grand finale you'll pick up here. Here we are, and it's not where you start, it's where you finish.